right, if you missed the Kratom Gals show last week, no worries. This is a best of clip just for you. So kick back and watch, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks.
You probably heard the story out of Florida with a toddler. This one is quite interesting.
Developing it for a 2-year-old is dead after ingesting a substance available at almost any gas station known as Kratom. Channel 9's Melanie Hull reports the people that were supposed to be watching that child now face charges.
Investigators say the death of 2-year-old Johnny Jordan was preventable. Had the toddler, who found and ate as many as 2.5 Kratom pills at a residence in Palm Bay, received immediate medical attention. Instead, West Melbourne police say the child's father dropped her off at his sister's home in their jurisdiction and put her to bed. She never woke up.
She became unresponsive. She started having breathing difficulty. Her lips turned blue. Both adults recognized this and knew this and chose not to call for any type of medical intervention.
Now the child's father, 35-year-old Jerome Jordan, and the mother of 2 of his other children, Charlene O'Connell, are charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child and child neglect with great bodily harm.
First of all, tell me how many children you have.
I have 5 children.
An autopsy on Johnny Jordan determined her cause of death to be acute mitragynine intoxication. It's a substance found in Kratom. We sought out an expert about the product, which is sold in many legal forms.
With the concern being high ingestion can lead to respiratory depression, up to including cardiac arrest, similar to an opiate overdose.
So I'll never get a bond.
Both Jordan and O'Connell were denied bond. Reporting from Brevard County, Melanie Holt, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
More details on what kratom actually is. It's actually a tropical tree in Asia. Its leaves, when ingested, can provide a stimulant effect. It is legal to purchase off the shelf in Florida for anyone 21 and older. The FDA warns consumers they have not tested or evaluated the drug.
Ooh. Well,
we know that. Okay, first off, shame on those parents. I'm sorry for their loss, but shame on you for allowing a child to have access to anything. I don't care if it was melatonin. You don't leave things where a child can get them.
Absolutely.
And a child can reach a lot of areas. Second, 2 pills, 2.5 pills. What was that? What was that substance really that the child that they had in their home?
And I'd like to know if there was anything else in the baby's system too.
Exactly.
Right.
Kratom is just being the one, whether it's Kratom or 7-0 or whatever one is being blamed, because we know they do this already. Somebody could have poly in their body. Somebody could have had a street drug, and because Kratom was a part of it, and it's the big news right now. You can't trust nobody. It's sad that I have to keep saying that. You can't trust no one now. We just want the truth.
Well,
we want truth in news. We want truth from other people. We just want truth, and it's very hard to come by.
And the fact that if it was 7-0, where did they even get it? Because it's been banned in Florida for how long now? Year and a half?
right, right.
Yep.
So come on, folks, let's start really looking at what the cause of that child's death was. It was
Yeah, I mean, it could have been, could have been
negligence.
Tylenol. Could have been Tylenol,
Yeah.
Benadryl.
Parental negligence is what killed that child.
So let's play this one.
Is it an herbal remedy or is it gas station heroin? Debate over what to do with Kratom has hit the Statehouse, but it's just as confusing for lawmakers as it is for consumers. Fox Carolina investigates what experts and advocates say the state is getting wrong and what it could mean for the people turning to Kratom.
Depending on who you ask, Kratom is hailed as a lifesaver.
I was diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia. It's called a suicide disease. And so I would wake up at night when I was diagnosed, lock myself in the bathroom, screaming into a pillow. I came across Kratom, and it saved my life.
Or an over-the-counter killer.
We had a 2-year-old that had overdosed on Kratom. The parents didn't understand the situation. They thought it was a natural mood enhancer.
But when people say Kratom, what do they actually mean? Because it no longer means one thing.
I'm not sure whether they're talking about a botanical leaf product, a synthetic product, such as these new 7-OH or 7-hydroxy products, or now even something called pseudo-indoxyl, which is another synthetic product that is derived from Kratom.
In talks about regulating Kratom and the semi-synthetic byproduct 7-OH, even South Carolina lawmakers admitted they had some confusion.
I'm not familiar with Kratom.
How does one tell synthetic from the leaf?
USC Upstate undergraduate researcher and Kratom advocate Luca Marvel was one of the people to testify at the Statehouse.
Kratom and 7-OH are not the same thing.
The natural form of kratom comes from the leaves of a Southeast Asian plant. 7-OH, or 7-hydroxymitragynine, is an opioid-like compound found in only trace amounts in leaf kratom. But now, lab-made tablets and gummies containing high levels of 7-OH are hitting stores across the country. Marvel, who is part of the South Carolina Kratom Coalition, said the people using kratom and 7-OH aren't who you might expect.
Very functional members of society that, feel like they rely on one or the other or both to treat very real, very serious medical ailments that they feel have been inadequately addressed by the medical establishment.
If this gets banned, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to go, because it's either live in so much debilitating pain that I want to end my life or break the law.
What lawmakers decide about kratom and 7-OH could impact thousands of South Carolinians with similar stories. Dr. David Schaefer, the director of toxicology for Prisma Health Upstate, testified at the Statehouse too. And while he agrees these substances are different,
There is no question, as you have heard today, that 7-OH is more potent.
he disagrees the leaf form is safer.
Cocaine and opium both are derived from the ground, and we know that those are not generally safe.
South Carolina passed the Kratom Consumer Protection Act in 2025, making it illegal for buyers under 21. But a critical provision stripped out before it passed is at the heart of the current chaos. Lawmakers deleted the 2% cap on 7-OH concentration.
Is it accurate to say that you would not be opposed to stricter regulation on 7-OH?
So I personally think that the way that 7-hydroxymitragynine or 7-OH is being sold is probably pretty irresponsible.
So before lawmakers take up the issue again, here's the main thing he wants them to consider.
Kratom and 7-hydroxymitragynine are different and need to be regulated differently.
I would agree that mitragynine, the main psychoactive substance in the kratom leaf, is not the same as 7-OH. That said, I believe they both have risks, and I'm not sure what the correct answer is at this point on how to regulate those products.
And while thousands of South Carolinians hang in the balance, lawmakers don't have an answer yet either.
The legislature reconvenes for its next regular session in January. Lawmakers will have to decide ban it all, regulate the difference, or leave the question unanswered again.
Okay. What are y'all's thoughts?
I do definitely think that there's a lot more that we need to learn on it, and all the analogs or all the alkaloids that can come from kratom, because there's so much that can be made from it in the future. And as far as these doctors go, I hope that they're able to they do their background learning too and do learn more about it, so that one's not getting blamed for the other and vice versa.
I think before anyone should be allowed to discuss this plant, they need to understand it. To have a state official say, well, I really don't know that much, then don't speak on it. Go talk to people that do know this much. Go talk to Oliver Grundmann. Go talk to Jack Henningfield. Even to Dr. McCurdy. Go talk to any of those people that do know this product and learn before you try to speak on it.
I need to go take my pup out real quick. Y'all just keep talking. Can y'all do that? Can y'all just keep it coming?
Gotcha.
All right, I'll be back.
Because basically all you're doing is making yourselves look stupid.
Yeah, and that's where we go back to education. It is the education, it is so important,
Very much so.
If we had even just starting, with the gas stations, okay, take it out of the gas stations. Let's educate these smoke shops, because they have to be 21 plus. Let's sit them down, and they've got to have, it's just, you get a liquor license or something. You've got to go do something in order to get a license. Make them sit through a class, learn the education on it to be able to do it. It's like people who work in a dispensary, there's certain guidelines that you have to follow. It's not that hard. I'm not getting why we're going to such drastic measures of basically Let's ban this plant. Let's literally, it's going to kill people taking this away. Like, we're going to just, it's going to take lives. We've already seen it happening. We've seen overdoses going up. If we had the proper education on it, if we put a cap, you know, like, do I agree with the certain higher percentages? No. But do people like myself and Twinkle take a drastic amount different for their dose for 7? Absolutely. You know, I think it should be capped off. To me, personally, I would say 25 or a 50 at most. But then again, that's the accountability. You're going to have to break that tablet down, you know, but that's just like your prescription medication. If they can trust us to go pick it up from the pharmacy and follow the rules, why can't they trust us to take a package that we're buying off the shelf or from the smoke shop or wherever, you know, proper places that we're buying?
Well, here's an example.
Why can't we be accountable for that? Why do they treat us like we're not?
Back when I was taking Suboxone from the pain management, I was taking the strips. They literally had me cut those strips, those 8 milligram strips, into 2 milligrams. And then at another time, it was like 4, because I think I was 4 3 times a day. So I took a very low amount, but it was for pain. But we had to be responsible to cut our strip or cut our tablet too. Yep. So we're capable of being responsible. Some people will and some won't. And that's just it. But we are supposed to be responsible and accountable for ourselves, whether or not it's a Tylenol or it's a pain medication or it's something over the counter.
Exactly. Right. There's always going to be someone out there that ruins it for us. You know, there's always going to be someone out there that takes it a little too far, takes more than what they should have. You know, that goes with alcohol, cigarettes, sex, working out, water. Some people are just addicted to being stuck inside their house or even outside. So it's like, if we started banning everything that people are abusing, there'd be nothing left in this world. Absolutely nothing left in this world, you know? So,
well, and we vote for our legislators and we expect them to do what is right for their constituents. If we aren't educating them as to what is real, not real, wrong, from our viewpoint, then we can't expect them to go out and spend countless hours learning about something because there simply isn't enough time in a day. We need to bring to market higher and higher concentrations of alcohol.
Exactly. Like, why is alcohol okay to sit here? And it's like one shot of alcohol and you're cool.
Yeah, and it's not just alcohol. Remember how hard it used to be to buy a small bottle of Everclear? Now they're selling gigantic gifts that are even stronger.
Wow.
How is that okay? What about personal responsibility there? Because look at DUIs, look at drunk driving accidents, look at the fatalities involved around alcohol, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But heaven forbid we take a plant to help us feel better.
Yeah.
You talked about the sober living facilities. Look at what they're doing to what they have done to our military. Military personnel are restricted from consuming kava or kratom.
Yeah.
They can live
what is wrong with people
from it. And yet,
alcohol go drink alcohol, and here's a bunch of
alcohol's
meds for your
led to
head.
the destruction of more of our military members than anything else on the face of the planet. Then you add in all the pharmaceuticals that they're forcing these service members to take, and that's okay. But heaven forbid if they choose to want to take kava or kratom.
Exactly.
We hear so much of, well, nobody knows the difference between kratom and 7-OH. There are so many of us that are constantly trying to educate people so they understand. That's one of the things we've been doing here on the Kratom Gals for several years. Constantly.
Well, and Chris does a lot too, as do Dan and Sarah.
Yes, Christopher Organic Botanicals. Christopher is very good at that. We've gotten to know some of these, great people behind these small kratom vendor companies like Christopher Organic Botanicals. You got Dan and Sarah at Mitraspec. Happy Hippo is a bigger company, but they're great at this too. These companies that spend so much time and energy educating people and advocating for safe legal access to kratom. And I would love to see more of that on the industry side. A lot of us do it as just kratom consumers, but I love seeing more people do that on the industry side of things. But anyway, I want to play this video from Abram talking about the 7-OH ban that's coming, and really trying to put some helpful information to people who are looking to quit, taper down. A lot of people are scared right now that utilize 7-OH. And, I'm sure y'all have seen, a lot of people are talking about it on social media. I've gotten lots of DMs about it. People are trying to figure out what to do, especially because this is happening so fast. So let's watch this video.
You've clicked on this video. The headline might have brought you here. So what I will tell you is we are filming this at the end of July. And as we step into August, 7-OH and its derivatives will become illegal in the United States on a federal level. If you've seen any of our videos previously, you know that I might have a relatively nuanced approach to talking about the subject of 7-hydroxy. Because of this channel, because of the advertising that we do online, I end up speaking to a lot of consumers, people all over the country who are in different circumstances from one another, but they share one thing in common. They're afraid, and they're most likely addicted to 7-OH. Addiction, in my opinion, is not a substance issue, which is why I don't believe in prohibition. It is a society issue, and it is an individual choice issue. That being said, there are a lot of things that are wrong with the 7-OH industry, just like there are things that are wrong within the Kratom industry. As an example, manufacturers who make products and don't tell the consumer what's in those products. As an example, manufacturers who make 7-OH products and name them after the same exact drugs you were probably addicted to 10 years ago. What else is wrong with the industry? Manufacturers who make products that put inhumane levels of the active ingredient into the product, all to satisfy the mechanism that exists within the industry. Shops all across America are constantly looking for better deals, which means cheaper product, stronger product, because in their mind, that is what's going to sell well at the store. So they're making the choice for you, the end consumer, and you're presented with the options that made sense to the business owner before putting them on the shelves. I want to make it extremely clear that you do not need to buy anything in order to quit 7-OH or MGM. Although you might be running out of time, you could progress with a taper, which basically means that you take away a small amount of the dosage that you would normally consume in a one-day period each and every day until you go from 300 milligrams to 3 milligrams. It's gradual, it requires discipline, but it's probably the most comfortable way to quit. Preceding all of this, though, it's extremely important to know I'm not a medical professional. I'm not an addiction counselor. I have no certificates on my wall, but I do have a beating heart, and I do genuinely care about the people that I talk to. I don't believe that my products or any Kratom product will be the single answer to somebody's addiction to 7-OH. I think that people with the addiction might be struggling in other areas of their life. And I think those areas, if given the right time and attention, could help to prevent addiction in the future. But we're here now. And if you're watching this video and you're struggling and you're scared, what I'm here to tell you is you can do it. You can absolutely kick the habit. It's been done before. You can do it cold turkey. You don't need any other products to do it. It is going to be miserable. It is going to be difficult. You could also go to a doctor and they could prescribe you with a pharmaceutical product that might be able to alleviate your symptoms. And for sure, that doctor can give you better medical advice than I am currently capable of giving you. That doctor can actually guide you in a way that is legal and fair and backed by science and data. So I'm not anti-medical community. I do think it's tragic whenever a consumer that went from Kratom to 7-OH ends up on Suboxone, and that's a subject for an entirely different video. But the bottom line is self-belief and understanding that it will be uncomfortable and that it will get better every day is probably the most important thing that I want every one of you who is addicted to this product or a product like it to understand. Kratom is not necessarily the answer for everybody. I love it. I consume it every day. I think it's amazing, but that's my opinion. That's based on my personal experience. And if you have self-control issues with 7-OH, you may very well have the same self-control issues with Kratom if you were to make the switch. So really, in my mind, what's the point of switching if you're going to be addicted to yet another product? But if your quality of life improves, then maybe it's worth exploring. So a couple of questions that get asked to me all the time. What product did I use to quit 7-OH when I was consuming it? How much product was I consuming when I did take 7-OH? And the answer to that question is roughly 300 milligrams a day, every day. I experienced withdrawal symptoms from 7-OH that Kratom has never given me. I quit using a full spectrum Kratom extract. Quite frankly, I didn't skip a beat. I felt completely normal, but I didn't get a buzz. When you ask me, what product did I use to quit, you have to understand that it was to feel normal and not to replace the high that I was getting from 7-OH. And you need to remove the idea of being able to find a better substitute high from 7-OH or MGM because A, it's not healthy, B, it's not practical, C, it's going to send you down a dark path. No doctor is going to prescribe you heroin or fentanyl to give you a better buzz to replace 7-OH. They're going to give you something called Suboxone or methadone, which, while it is capable of giving you a buzz, is nowhere near as magnanimous and wonderful as 7-OH made you feel for all of about 15 minutes at a time every time you took a tablet. Understand that 7-OH is extremely potent, and it's demanding a lot from your body's receptors. They're tapped out. Going from 7-OH to Kratom just means that you're taking a less potent analgesic, a less potent substance in replacement of 7-OH. And that means you're probably not going to feel anything. But for me, feeling normal and not skipping a beat, not having any interruption, not having any discomfort was a win. But that's because I was not fixated so much on the buzz that I was getting from 7-OH. So I want to make it really clear, guys, and to recap a couple of points. I'm not a doctor, not advising you what to do with your body. I'm sharing personal experience and in some ways experiences anecdotally of the people that I've interacted with over the last year. Listen to your body. Be patient with yourself. Do not beat yourself up over being in this position. You are not alone. There are literally millions of people who are in the same boat as you. There are people who got there willingly, knowingly. There are people who got there because they were given 7-OH instead of Kratom when they first visited that first shop, trying to explore a natural alternative to any other drug. Please do not shame yourself and do not beat yourself up over this. You are human. You make mistakes. This is a learning experience. And once you've got it behind you, you're going to be in a better place and you'll avoid it in the future. Let's talk about why someone would want to see 7-OH remain on the shelves. Number one, they're a chronic pain patient. Number two, they're not horribly addicted to it because they controlled their dose. Number three, maybe they're purchasing a product that's from a brand that's more reputable with smaller dosages per tablet. They're not buying the 200 milligram tablets, and they're sure as hell not buying one named after a street drug. So to them, they're viewing this as the loss of a tool. And for them, they are losing a tool. They're losing something that brought them quality of life. For those people, I feel horrible, although not guilty because I don't feel like I'm individually responsible for 7-OH being banned. What I think is responsible for 7-OH being banned is the vast majority of people who have abused this product, spent way too much money on it, blowing the industry up in terms of revenue overnight, and the companies that have operated unethically in the space. To you watching this video, if you are bummed out about losing the access to 7-OH, I'm sorry, but we, all of us, myself included, need to be better about where we spend our money. And if you're buying products, whether they're shoes on your feet or the underpants that you're currently wearing, I'm wearing none, and you are not able to see any visibility from that company, you're not able to communicate with them, you know that they do unethical practices, don't spend your money there. Find the less unethical company to spend your money with if no great companies are available. Be more discerning with where you spend your money. We all have the opportunity to be better, and if collectively we decide that we're not going to put up with the BS that comes from the big brands and the small brands, then we'll have a better world to share, and those companies, by the nature of consumer demand, will have to change the way that they operate in the marketplace. So pick better brands, support small businesses. If your buddy opens up a shop across the road, go spend money with him. You just spent $160 on a pair of sneakers. You have money to buy from local businesses that care about the community. You have money to buy from brands that build their products in the United States. So my message to you guys is this: stay safe out there. Do not consider the drugs that are on the streets. Go to a doctor if you need to. Go to a doctor if you're unsure, if you're scared. If you have to go on Suboxone, there's no shame in that. You're a human being and you're in a dark place today, but you can fight to get out of that tomorrow. As always, we appreciate you tuning in for this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop them below. Otherwise, please hit like and subscribe and reach out to us if you have any questions. It brings me joy.
I love his message. So good.
I do too.
So good.
Mm-hmm. It's really
Very
good.
honest and open.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Well-
I love that he calls people out.
And so many great
Yes.
points. I mean, just so many great points.
Yeah, and he is like a VP at a Kratom manufacturing company. And to come out and make these types of videos, some of you may remember our regulars months ago, it was earlier this year, he made a whole series of YouTube shorts chronicling him stopping Kratom and taking the tolerance break and what he was going through each day and how it felt. And who does that? Like, who in the Kratom industry side does something like that. I thought it was amazing. And we even had him come on and talk about it here on the Kratom Gals, because it's so nice to see people being vulnerable in the industry to have these types of discussions, whereas most people are afraid to. And I understand being afraid to. I totally get it on the industry side. Most of them don't reveal who they are. I get it. But I want to put a spotlight on people like Abram and also Kamal White, who are not afraid to be very public and talk about things that need to be talked about.
Yeah.
That's education right there. What we just saw, that's education. I want to play the Hamilton Morris video because it's so good. And I want to make sure people in our community, if you haven't watched this yet, I just thought it'd be fun for us to all watch it together because I'd like to watch it again. It was so good. And if you don't, first of all, if anybody didn't know who Hamilton Morris is, you should Google him. Fascinating guy. He had a real popular TV show on Vice News years ago called Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. And who can bet? Like I just know of him, and I've watched his Kratom stuff over the years. But who could like really describe who he is and what he does in a general?
He's a young man that is not afraid to take on the tough topics, and he doesn't much care what somebody thinks of him. He's going to put the truth out there, and he has taken a lot of backlash through the years because of what he does, and it's. So often it's not even that he's promoting something, he just wants you to know the truth and the facts. And he's going to do anything he has to get it out there. And I applaud him.
So he put out this video Tuesday on the 28th. So it's just been days ago. As of right now, it's already gone up in views since we started, because when we first started today, I was checking and it was at 437,000 views. Now it's at 441,000 views. So just in under 2 hours.
Wow.
It's already more. It's like, holy cow, you know, what's going on here? Oh, I think Twinkle's.
Lots of interest.
I want us to watch this video he put out. He made like a little mini documentary about the chemistry of 7-OH, and he goes into manufacturing facility. Is if anything, is so interesting just to learn more about the whole pharmacology of 7-OH and this behind the scenes, and the filmmaking is done in a really great, very creative way. And he's just an interesting person as it is.
And so, he works with Soren Shade. It doesn't get any better than that.
Soren Shade is one of his producers. And I've had Soren on the Kratom Stories podcast several years ago. And it was so interesting when he was telling the story of that. He was in college. Soren was, I think he was maybe a senior at college. I forgot how long he was in, but he was in college and he loved Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia. And he wanted to get involved and be a part of the show. And he ended up becoming a producer and traveling all around with Hamilton. And so he does a lot of the behind the scenes. His name does come up in the credits for this video.
You're like this, dude. Check this shit out. Hungarian, very few in the world. Whoa. Ultimate countercurrent chromatography instrument, period. It's the coolest thing on the planet. Super complicated. There's like, I got a book on it if you want a recommendation about it. It's really, really cool.
You're looking at 250,000 square feet between 7 different facilities. We have over 100 rotovabs. During COVID, we made hand sanitizer. So I had some 800-liter stainless steel reactors, 350 employees just for this. Production.
That does something. Okay, it's 2 to 5.
Buddy that I've known since high school, like we've been friends since 9th grade. He did heroin, he did fentanyl, and 7-OH got him off of it. A lot of the time, right, people will hear other people talk about it, and they're like, oh, you know, that guy drinks the Kool-Aid because he works there and all this stuff. But it's like, I watched that happen. Like, it's alive because of this stuff. And it's always weird to me that they want to just get rid of it. There's not even a fight for, let's just pull it off the shelves and put it into clinical trials, anything. And it's frustrating to see.
So we have a starting material sample. We're expecting to see an almost completed reaction, if not a completed one. And then on your 8 kg, you'll see 3. You'll see a byproduct, a product, and then your starting material if it is still there. And you'll see it grab the first sample right now.
Where does mitragynine come from?
Like, is in the word or like?
Like, where do those sacs of mitragynine come from?
The sacs come from our extraction facility.
Oh.
But I think we've moved out of that facility because of the Kansas line. That facility was in Kansas. And they've scheduled Kratom as a whole over there.
Every customer I've talked to, they all say the same thing. They're just going to order it online. Prohibition don't work. It is what it is.
So you're not doing any more mitragynine extraction?
No, we're not allowed.
Oh, damn, that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks a lot.
As of 2 weeks ago, we had to completely shutter that facility, laid 50 people off, have pulled all the equipment, got all the materials out of there. Since the ban, absolutely nobody has ordered, right? Everybody's just trying to get off their stock, scared to death. So, right, literally Friday, we laid off 300 people. Let that number settle in. Yeah, it's right back to reefer madness. That's what it feels like. Right? It's 1930s reefer madness, 708 madness. I say on the lobbying side, we crushed the Kratom industry. But on the propaganda side, they killed us. They just killed us.
That is Vince Sanders, one of 708's loudest proponents. Fun fact, he was once a car salesman / large-scale illegal marijuana dealer. And even funner fact, after he was arrested in 2000, his attorney argued in court to void his prison term, citing, among other things, the tax revenue lost from having the #1 Acura salesman in the US behind bars. And I shouldn't go to prison because I'm America's #1 Acura salesman might be the saddest sentence of all time.
It is what it is. But, I've never backed down from any of it because I have no question that the overall good is vastly greater than any of the bad. Well over 2 billion servings at this point of 7-OH. No single death attributed to solely 7-OH. There's anything that 7-OH was in somebody's blood supply, they had, their polypharmac, 6-8 different substances in there. So we know this is an incredibly safe substance. Why would we get rid of it and potentially open up something that's not safe? Because that's most likely what will happen. When they dramatically cut down on opioid prescriptions after all the oxy scare, that worked well. The opioid dose doubled in a few years. Yeah, they immediately went to heroin, and then cartel said, oh, wait a minute, this fentanyl's a whole lot cheaper and easier to bring in. We'll do that. Then they really jumped. This is whatever they replaced 7 with. And this caught us completely flat-footed. We didn't have an inkling it was coming. It was like some kind of black ops operation. It was total silence. It just showed up.
Who do you think initiated it?
Well, I don't know if I want to say on camera. I'm a little worried, right? I personally think it was Mullins.
These individuals that are selling know what they're doing. They know the individuals are targeting. They know the loophole and sell it as a dietary supplement.
Senator Markwayne Mullen has been a vocal critic of 7-hydroxymitragynine, a position industry insiders think was influenced by his $500,000 to $1 million stake in Botanic Tonics, the manufacturers of a competing Kratom product.
As head of Homeland Security and a large investor in Botanic Tonics, I have a feeling those New York Times articles and stuff shook him up and pissed him off. It's like, all right, well, fuck, let's kill this. And then you also have Kinley, who's a personal friend of J.W. Ross's. By just a crazy dealing of the cards, we've got 2 cabinet secretaries that are directly connected.
We're looking very seriously at natural 7-OH and getting that approved, natural 7-OH. And we'll take a look at that very strongly. I think us and everybody.
Time is there?
August 6th is, if it goes horrible, August 6th is when it could stop. Not a lot of time. The big call to action would be, please visit the HHS website and leave your testimonial of what 7-OH has done for you, how it's made your life better. And if it's made it worse, leave that, right? But let's just put the truth out there.
One of the interesting things you said last week, Robin, you brought up the fact that your stance started changing with 70H when we here collectively watched the New Hampshire hearing. They had their Senate hearing that Amanda spoke at, and so did Dr. Cornell Stansu. And he said some really interesting things, and it really opened up my eyes too, because he said some things that we're not always hearing.
I wanted to mention, I heard a lot of talk about synthetic here. And what we're really discussing with 7OH, and it's not included in there, is semi-synthetic, because 7OH is not synthetic, it's semi-synthetic. It's found in the plant. So when you take mitragynine and you make it into 7OH in a lab, that's semi-synthetic. When you take other alkaloids and you manipulate it in the lab to mitragynine, pseudoindoxyl, that's synthetic. So I would like to see this semi-synthetic wording being used.
He says something so profound there. So I don't remember all the details with that ban proposal. You were there, Amanda. I guess he didn't like the wording because they were saying synthetic, which is also something we hear being thrown out all the time in the industry, the anti-7OH in the Kratom industry. They keep saying synthetic. But he wanted to make sure it was put into that New Hampshire Senate bill. It is semi-synthetic, but when you the other, the 7OH, but the pseudoindoxyl is actually the synthetic. And I think it's so important for these things to be laid out for all of us that want to learn about these things, because it changes.
He wanted it on the record. Yeah, he wanted it on the record, and he was willing to spend some of his time to enforce that need and belief. And that's when my eyes got opened. It was like, wait a minute, all this time all I have ever heard is synthetic.
If somebody took 30, 40, 50 milligrams of 7 a day, that's not going to cause respiratory depression. Those tests were via injection and intravenous. You put anything in somebody with that route of administration and it's going to be boom and a blast, so they kept going with that one too. But it would take a lot, and it would probably also take other substances to ever get to the point of respiratory depression. So I know in what I take, I'm far away from that at all. And most people that take it for pain are also far away from that.
I think the last video should be something a little more relaxing and a little more fun, because we need.
Oh, thank you.
We need
My
something.
BP needs it.
We need something a little more fun. And I used to find more videos like this one I'm about to show you, but I just don't see these as much as I used to. But let's watch something that's just a little more relaxing.
That was wonderful. It was so calming.
It was.
That's what I knew. That's what we needed to wrap up with, something nice and calming. And like I said in the comments a moment ago, it's just a leaf. I think that should be our phrase of the day that everybody
There
puts
you
in the
go.
chat.
Just
So,
a leaf.
so for people that are here live watching us right now, go put in the chat, live chat right now, put it's just a leaf and put a leaf or some kind of nice emoji with that. And for those watching the replay, we are at the 2 hour and 17 minute mark. So thank you for getting this far in the replay, and put that in there too, so we know you got to this part, to the end. It's just a leaf. That's all this is. It's just a leaf off of a tree. Not like what that previous guy said in the video we just watched. It's a opiate alkaloid.
Yeah.
Yeah, an opioid alkaloid.
That's not what it looked like to
comes
me.
from opium.
We're passionate Kratom consumers that like coming on here and doing
You
this.
can't bully us out of talking about our experiences and sharing our experiences, and or a video like that we see on the news, like we're sharing our experience. None of us are doctors. Like, we're just out here living our best lives. Just
exactly.
Let us be. Leave us alone.
And nobody can take it away.
Exactly what I was going to say. Leave us
Leave
alone.
us alone.
Yeah. Wait a second before you go. Do me a favor right here. There's another video. YouTube thinks you'll like it. But also hit that like and subscribe as well. Do that. Then tap right here next to me. I think you're going to like that one too.